So we are in the last quarter of this course. Okay. Yes.
I have a question about the final exam. Is it cumulative as in like all the content we learned?
What does it say in the syllabus?
It isn't specified.
It's not specified?
Does it? I'm looking at the schedule of activities and maybe in the syllabus.
Look at it in the syllabus. It should be in the syllabus. Okay, so according to this our schedule, we have our test 3 next week on 6th. Okay. Okay, I can do one thing. I can make it on 8, if you like.
Yes.
The 6th will be Tuesday, but 8 will be Thursday.
Yes, I have a test that day. I don't need more anxiety.
Huh?
I have a test the 6th, so I would like to move this one to the
Okay.
8th.
So how many of you have problem if we move it to 8, to Thursday? Anyone has any problem? Raise your hand. Okay, if you do not raise your hand, you cannot complain, okay? Too many people complain that I cannot teach, for instance. Okay. Okay, so then, how many of you do agree? Coming Thursday. So tomorrow, day after tomorrow is Thursday, next Thursday.
No, the test 3 is supposed to be on the 6th, which is next week Tuesday, but he's asking us if we want to move to the 8th, which is next week Thursday.
Yeah, I'm asking if you want to, then I can move it 1/8.
Yes.
Okay, anyone has, everybody agrees? Yes. Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's 1/8, okay? Okay, I will fix it on 8, the same time, okay? Okay. And then, maybe day after tomorrow class, we will give you a study guide. By the weekend, maybe we'll give you a study guide. And then if I will try to give you, maybe in this week I have to, a lot of things. I have to complete file of IO this week. Okay. I will try to give you a review about test. So day after tomorrow class or in Tuesday class. Okay. So everybody is feeling better now in this course? You are getting interest, right?
Yeah.
You should get interest if you do practice, but really a lot of things. I wish that even I were a student like you, I would wish less content in this course, because like I wish that the review stuff would not be here. It killed our time, 2 weeks, a week. And there's a lot of things like GUI can be another class, GUI operation. Okay, so our today's class is about file IO operation, but file IO actually rely on input output and file, actually input output stream and file IO stream. Actually file IO means file input output stream. Actually there should have another lecture that is called input output stream, like using scanner, using buffer reader. Do you know of this stuff, how to use scanner in order to input something from keyboard? Take an input from keyboard instead of hard coded, using scanner. Or there is alternative. Scanner has some limitations. In order to resolve that limitation, we use a buffer reader. Is anybody here can tell me some limitations of scanner in Java? Why do we use buffer reader? Okay, if we go to my GitHub account, so I have created okay, so this is file IO operation. This is a GitHub repository. This is a Java project. Okay, so it has some complete programs about file input output and scanner input output operation. You can clone this project. So in my class I will make demo some with this project, so you don't need to write note, just you can clone this project and you can get most of the program. Actually this code is from my book chapter number 15, right? So I should have everything in my code. Okay, so file input output operation, it has some extra advanced program as well, as like for instance how to write a program in order to use your printer to print something from your Java program. It has some advanced level of codes. Okay, I will try to go through this. Let me see that how far I can go. So sorry, I could not record last class, but instead of recording, I recorded a video about exception handling, and I put maybe an announcement. I put on my YouTube channel. I made an announcement. If you need to know more about exception handling, you can rewatch that video. Exception handling is an important thing. So we will see some use of exception handling in this class as well. So file input output is required, because file operation is required. So instead of taking hard-coded input in your program, hard-coded data in your program, or instead of giving input every time using a keyboard, we may need some time to get our data input from a file. For instance, in enterprise application, we always get data from a database table, and we may also need to write our output in a file. Okay, or you may need to sometime print our output through a printer, right? So these are called, so in order to do those kind of operation, we need file input output operation. So in order to do file input output operation, there are some classes, built-in classes. Like for input and output operation, there are some built-in classes for reading data from taking data from keyboard or file, or sending data to monitor and like keyboard, in a file. There are some classes and methods, built-in methods. We will use those features. Okay, and using those features, we can create our own method. For instance, everybody we know how to, in Java or in C#, we know how to display something in monitor screen using print method in Java, or println method in Java, or write line method in C#. We know that, right? Okay. So now we will know how to use file input output operation. Okay, in order to do file input output operation, we need parallelly to use keyboard input output operation. So like in keyboard input output operation, there are some methods, some classes that read line, or we use system.in or scanner. These classes we use, and in order to write data or our output in a program, we use console, like console in C#, right? We use console, then write line, and then system.out and print method in Java. We use this. Sorry, today I totally forgot to bring the attendance sheet, okay? So no attendance sheet today. So the general process of file input output operation, for instance, we need to open a file or create a file in a mode. What is mode? Mode is status. Either you want to write on a file or you want to read from a file. So if you want to read from a file, then it's called read operation. Mode is read mode. And if you want to write in a file, then you will open the file write. But sometimes if you want to open it in append mode, that means you want to add something at the end of existing record or data in a file. That is called append mode. And create, in order to create a file, new file, we use create. So in order to do input output operation, input process in your file, just imagine that there is an active cursor. So we have a cursor, right? When you type in something, we place our cursor. This is the cursor, it is moving. Like when it's actually mouse pointer is moving. So in a file, when we want to write something, we move our cursor at that place and we write on that place. So for file operation, just imagine that there is an active cursor that is moving around the file that you want to read from or write into that file. This sometimes is called active cursor, or sometimes it's called active pointer, or it's called file pointer. In some book text you will see it as a file pointer, or in some somewhere you will see the active cursor, or sometimes it's called pointer or cursor. The same thing. These are let me go through this theoretical information on these slides, then I will go to program from my book. So then these are the pseudocode or process for reading text from a file. Okay, so first of all, you need to know the structure of the file, that whether it is a doc file or a text file or PDF file. The structure of the file or database file, you need to know that. So then you need to know, are you reading each character by character or by word? Are you reading each character from word, or are you reading each word from a line, or are you reading all of the words from a line? So if you want to read all of the words from a line, then you need to know what is the delimiter. That is called, what is the character that divides two adjacent words. For instance, here we have, most of the time we have space that divides two words. Sometimes you may see either semicolon or comma. is used in order to as a delimiter in order to specify distinction between two words. You understand that here the first word must know the structure of the file, right? Here there are some words, and between two words we have a space. So here is space is a delimiter. Okay, is a delimiter is a space. Okay, sometimes you may have is called comma separator. You don't have any space, but you have comma. Sometimes you will see there is semicolon. You also need other fields of defined size such as, so this is required for mainly database table reading. For the reading, when you define a database table, right, we put the length of each character length of each column is field. Database is column is called field, right? So we define each of the field will be how many characters each of the field can contain maximum. So that is the last thing, that first name maximum it may need 10 characters or 20 characters or 30 characters. So the last point here is related for reading record or data from a database table. Let's go through the. Okay, then file structure. Okay, sorry, this is it. Okay, an airline company should store in file. This is maybe an example for its file structure. It has. Okay, so file structure means in file, some files, you may have some file as data, sometimes data are stored in a database file. In a database file, data are stored in tabular format using row and column wise, right? Sometimes you will see that there is no table, but data are in plain text format. If data are plain text format, then easy to read, and because it's faster. In that case, maybe the delimiter here, the data may be like this one. For instance, the last this 3 lines AA 1 2 3 BWI, and this is a comma separator. So between two words there is no space, but there is a comma. It shows that this is a word and this is another word, this is another word, this is another word, except comma is not a word. Okay, so maybe in the record maybe says this, the first word will define the flight number, and the second word will define the origin airport, the third character will define the destination airport, maybe the fourth one will the number of passengers, and maybe the fifth one is the average ticket. So if this is a file structure, data structure, actually data structure in this file. Not actually it's called file structure, it's called data structure, how data is organized in a file. So if you know that the third word will be your destination airport, so then you always will read from each of the lines, you always will read the third word. In order to get your destination airports. Here the delimiter is comma, right? It's comma separated delimiters. Comma will distinguish between each of the data field. Let me see. Okay, so another thing, an important thing that, so in order to, okay, so this is a format. This is a format, an example of how to open a how to create a stream reader or stream writer object. Okay, there are built there these stream reader and or stream writer classes are built in the system in java.io.lang package. Okay, so just we need to create an object of the, for instance, in order to read data from a data table, we need to create a stream reader object, and creating an object is as simple as you know, right? So the class name, the object name equal to new. This is the constructor, and we have to pass the file name. And I will tell you where this file should exist. This file should exist in the root directory of your project. If it otherwise it does not say the location. For instance, data.txt, it does not say the location of the file, right? So it's then it defines that your project will be in a root directory, project root directory, this data. Okay, then for similarly, in order to create a stream writer object, we need to use stream writer class, then stream writer class stream writer object equal to new stream writer, and we need to put the file name. Okay, if this file exists, then we can open this way. If that these files do not exist, if these files do not exist, then we need to create a file, right? Then we have file class, F-I-L-E, file in uppercase, file class. Then we can create a new file using file class. We will show that in the program. And then the last thing is that for most of the programs and application, you need to close your file. The file you open, you need to close it, release it, so that the other program or other application can open that and use that. In most of the case, and I think it's almost all of the case, so it is restriction by the operating system that you cannot two threads or even two users or two threads cannot open a file simultaneously, parallelly. One thread or one user needs to release it, then another user or thread can open it. Java is a multi-threaded operating system, right? So we will learn about multi-threading and parallel processing maybe in the next week or the week after test. So the last thing is we need to close the file. We need to close the file. Okay. This is code for C#. C# has C is in close, method name is in uppercase, or Java has in lowercase. All methods name. Okay, it has an example of the previous code. So it's opening a file. So yeah, you see the new operator. If this file does not exist, then a new file, this file class will create a file named filename.txt. Or this is a single line. This line can be divided. Actually, this line is a combination of these two lines. I want to show this in a program, actual program, that how it works. Let me see how many slides. There are, so in the file writer class, there are some methods. These methods are used in order to write data in your file or in an output device. The print method and println method, everybody knows this, right? These are very common. These are Java example. What is that code? Even I didn't know that. It says in closing, calling the close method in Java is optional, because maybe the garbage collector, it closes everything, but I did not know that. Today that I was reading, I knew that it's optional. But I always, when I open a file and then work is done, then I always close the file. So closing, although it is optional, we should always close the file. Okay, so it says optional. That means it's not harmful if we close it. Let me go through, and I want to go through an example. Okay, so it has some code snippet, but these codes are not complete. Okay, so instead of discussing these codes, I want to go through some real programs. Then we will discuss how to use these programs. Okay, so that last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the last 5 slides are just code snippet. Okay, so in order to go through this code snippet, I want to discuss this in a program, through some program. Okay, let's go through some programs and let us see if we understand this in a better way. So as I mentioned that if you go to my my GitHub account, and you see that I create a file IO operation project. This is a Java project, and just clone this project, and in this project just clone this and then import it in your IDE. Then you will see there are some examples. Okay, for instance, this one. Do you see from the back? Can you read from the back? Okay, so let us. Okay, so in my book code, I put the Java the file name as, or the public main class name as J15_1. Just with this, I gave them name in order to, when I wrote this program first, I compiled this manually. At that time there was no Eclipse. I compiled them using I wrote this on Notepad, and then I compiled it manually. And then in order to make our program line, what is that called? Compilation code shorter, I wrote this way, and it also helped me to organize my codes serially. So you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that I can quickly open a file. I know that. Okay, so let us understand. If we understand this program, it's always short program, but we will understand something. So this is a class name, right? So this, we know until main method. Until this, which is fine, right? So within the main method, we are using a throws keyword. Why do we use throws keyword? We discussed in last class, right? Throws keyword is used always on method level. Okay, so for instance, if my program creates an exception, okay, this throws keyword will catch that exception. Instead of throws, I could put catch, try, and catch block. I will show you later in a minute. Okay, but for now, maybe I can remove this one. So if I remove this one, you see what will happen. So it is showing me an error message. It is showing me an error message. Even it will not allow me to delete this part. See that as soon as I remove this my throws, it is showing me an error message. What is that error message? I have to either add throw declaration or surround with try-catch statement, because this is the line. Compiler knows that this may create an exception, because what may happen, I'm going to create a file. Okay, I'm going to create a new file in this location. I may not be able to create this file. There may have many issues. For instance, I may not be allowed to create a file on this computer. I don't have admin privilege on this computer. Okay. Or maybe it may happen that there is already a file by this name. So I cannot create a file duplicate with same name, right? There may be many other issues. So this is why compiler knows that this may be this is an unchecked exception. Yes.
So this will create an empty document.
Yes.
Is it? I suppose this would be different if you go from computer to computer. But if you were to open this up and run it, would it be just like a notepad doc?
If I put in notepad txt, then it will create a text file.
And if it's doc, it would.
Doc is a document file. It will create. Okay. I'm going through this. Okay, step by step. So this is why it is an unchecked exception. Okay, unchecked exception are errors or the exceptions. Remember from last class, there are two kinds of exceptions: unchecked and checked. This is an unchecked operation, so either I have to surround it with a throw catch block, or I have to put it using a throws. For instance, that was showing here. Add throws declaration. Just it is throws IO exception. It's fine, right? Okay. Then what I'm doing here, I'm just creating a file writer. Okay, I'm using file writer, print writer. I'm just trying to, I was just trying to create an object. Even I did not run this program, right? Even I did not run this program. I did not run this program. These are compile time errors coming, right? Unchecked exception or compile time exception. Okay, so then I have to do that. Okay, now I want to run this program. If I want to run this, then let us see what happens. You see, like that. So it cannot create okay, so it cannot create this file. So it says access denied. The reason is that it says access denied because I don't have admin privilege to this computer. This is university computer. I don't have access, okay, to create a file on C drive. I don't have access to create a file on C drive. So let me show you that really true. I don't have access. I cannot create a file here. So new folder. So let me see if I can create a file. How can I create a new file? Okay, so let me do something and type in something test, and I want to save it. I want to save it on C drive. Okay, let me see if it allows me to save it. Test1.doc, either way, or even txt. I want to save it. Okay, so it says you don't have permission to save in this location. I really don't have access to this location. Yes.
So how do we check?
Sorry.
How do you check for permissions?
So actually, I know that this is not my computer. This is university computer. Okay. Okay, so that I'm doing. I'm going through this. Okay, so actually it shows that my program error is exception shows that access denied. That means I don't have accessibility access. I don't have permission. So then let us go through a different location that where I do have access. For instance, I know I do have access to my users and my usernames, and I do have access to create a document on the document folder. Here already I created some. Okay, so let me copy this entire thing location, and instead of giving this on C colon user C colon C drive, I just want to put this here. Actually, I want to put this. Okay. So now everybody knows why do I need to use double backslash. So in order to have one backslash, I need to put double backslash, right? So my folder location was C colon something. My folder location was, you see the C colon backslash. So in order to get one backslash in Java, I need to give two backslashes, right? So that's it. Okay, so then I have permission to get here on this page. So now if I run this program, I should be, you see that, let me show you, I do not have any file on this location. I do not have any file name on this name. Okay, so sorry, I need to give the file name. So it's getting double. So test.doc, I do not have any file here in this location, test.doc. Okay, so now if I run this program, it should create. Okay, so it does not have any message. It does not have any message. That means that file is created. You see that file is created just right now, a few seconds ago. 709. It is 709, right? It's just created now, right? So this file is an empty file. Just an empty file. It created an empty file, right? So, but if I want to create a notepad file, text file, then I will put txt, right? Okay, so then let me run it again. Then it will create a text file. Okay. Okay, so then how about if I run it again? Okay, so actually it will overwrite. By default, it will overwrite the previous file. So this is why it is not showing me an error message. It is overwriting the previous file. It is overwriting the previous file. Okay, so just here I have created a file. Okay, but I'm not writing anything here, so I don't need this one for now. And just I am file. Okay, file fr, and then I'm just closing this file. That's it. Okay, so this program says just to create a file. Okay, so now let us go to the second program. No, I forgot to bring that in the sheet today. No need. Okay, so this program is same. Actually, like instead of using, what is the difference? Instead of using throws, IO exception, I just use this try catch. Okay, so here this line I don't have this folder. So actually, let me put this folder. Okay, put something finally block. It is the finally block. Okay. So this program is same as the previous program. Okay, same thing, but we have used the try-catch block. So instead of try-catch block, we very simply can use a throws IO exception. Okay, but instead of throws IO exception, it is better to use try-catch block, because then we will be able to print the exception information. For instance, what kind of exception is coming. For instance, for this exception E, we need to just exception type. For instance, we can do, so for instance, we are printing what is the error, what is error coming here, what error is coming here, or we can print, for instance, system.out.println. We can maybe more print something, E dot track trace or something. If it pops up, it will say list of methods. So you see there is a track print track trace, this one. Oh, there is a problem here. It needs to be changed to println. No. Okay, there is an. I know that what is coming. We will go through later. That okay? Okay, let us run this program again. Okay, so that means this I don't have any exception or an error. Then it is showing me the finally block. This method, right? That means all this coded execute, all these codes execute. So creating a file writer object, just creating a file writer object, and then just create a file, right? Then let's go to the next program. Okay, this program is a bit larger. Actually, it has some other extra code, but in order to understand this program, you need to learn something. For instance, scanner and especially buffer reader. Maybe in the next class I will discuss something. But if you go through this project, it has some scanner demo, like scanner demo 1 and scanner demo 2 and scanner issues. Scanner has some issues. The scanner in java.system. When you scanner system.in, it has some issues. Okay, discuss this issue in next class. I need some time to discuss this. But let me go through this, because this is not related to this class. Okay, so again, it will not allow me to create a file over here, so I need to change the file location. Okay, so in this program this program is a little bit better than the previous one. What I will be able to do here, I will be able to, so you see I have throws and exceptions, so I don't need to use try catch block. So if I run this program, it will open a file, it will create a file, and I will be able to write some data in the file, and then that will be saved in this file. Okay, so then it is this message is showing a file named text is open for you. Write something and press enter to save. Okay, so hello. So if I write something, so until I press enter, it will allow me to write. Okay, so then as soon as I press enter, then what is gone? It should be, then you see the program terminated. I am not allowed to type in anymore. And let us open the file and see that this file opened. Okay, let me see that this file, where is the location? My documents folder. This one, right? 723 now, 722. I created the file as 722. This open this one. Okay, I have my code here, right? The text I wrote here. Here is the text, right? Hello there, how are you? Thank you, I'm fine. So happy, right? Okay, so I like you to clone my project, this project, and go through this program and do some practice, make some changes. Or in your if it is your computer, you should be able to do. Okay, in your computer you do not have this username, right? So you have to change here username, the file name and location. You have to change your file name and location when you write in your computer, practice in your computer. Okay. So, okay, so now let us see what do I have here in this file. Okay, the straightforward, I have to use file writer class to create a file writer object stream, and then here I created a new file as test.txt, and these two lines are just giving me some hints, direction. Okay, then here is the thing. Okay, I am opening that file, whatever file I created. Okay, that I am opening that file, and in order to read the characters of the string. Okay, and here the read. Okay, what is the right thing here? Actually, here in this while not ended, so this here. Okay, and this is the code for writing in your file. So in order to understand, actually there are some other IO operation methods you need to know about: read line, and then get byte, get integer, get string, get maybe in one of the, I got a good resource online. So if you go through this scanner demo, this program one, this has a resource link. So if you study this scanner Java, why scanner is used and how it is used, and it has also scanner limitation, and mainly then after that you go to buffer reader example, buffer reader class, why it is used. So in order to understand file input output operation, we also need to understand scanner and buffer reader. So these are not in the slide, but these are extra thing you need to know. For all source I put in my project, just go through and do some study. Okay, so let me see what I have in other programs. Okay, this program is almost same. So this is that another different version of the previous program. So it's just what is that called? Writing your program until you press enter. That is the new line. So that character is defined as new line. This is the alternative version of the previous program. This is 15_04. But maybe if you want to run in your program in your computer, on your computer, you should be able to do this. I was able to do this in my personal laptop because I have access admin privilege. Let us go to the next program. What do I have? Okay, so this is another mode. This is called append mode. Opening is append mode. Boolean if mode is true. That means in append mode. Append mode means that if you open this file, okay, that means whatever you have previous data, that will still exist in your program. But let us see that what we did, we had in our previous program. So these three, right? Okay, so this one. Okay, so then what text I do have already? I know that I have text thank you again. Then let me see if it opens that file and allow me to add something. So it's gone. Okay, that's good. Hello, I'm here. How many minutes left? 8 minutes. Okay, so this program, it says that it will read line. That means it will read just from the previous program we showed that with how can we write in a file, right? But this program will show how can we read from a file. Just we already know that we have a file and that file has some data. So so if I run this program, just it will show me the content of the file. And it is displaying this file content on monitor. Okay, standard output device. But if you run this program, for instance, this is a print test example 1. There are some example. It will, but you need to exist. You need to have this file. It will allow you to print the content of this file through your printer. If you have a printer installed and link your computer on a printer, then it will allow you to print this. So printing is not required for this course. Okay, just but I do have some extra programs. Okay, but another thing is that in order to write object, in a class is different, something different. So far we are writing text, right? So if you want to write object, then that is something different, and we need to do some advanced. We need to use some parser, okay, and some parsers. So and we need to do some advanced study. But I have some programs over here. If you want to do some study, then you can practice. But I'm not going to discuss this. So you please practice, and in next class, if you have any question, then we can discuss, or I can discuss something more about file operation. There is some information that I know that beyond these slides, I know some information that I want to share with you in the next class. But meanwhile, if you do some practice, please. If you find any issue, then we can discuss those. Okay, so another reminder that our test will be on 8, right? November 8, okay? Okay, anybody has any question? So download the slide, please, and read through the slide and download a GitHub project and then do some practice.
Is file IO going to be on this upcoming test, or is it going to be on the final?
File IO is not in this coming test. Maybe. Let me double check.
Okay.
So week through 10. No, until stack operation.
Okay.
Week 7 to 10, right? 7 we had reference parameter, recursion, linked list, stack queue.
All right, thank you.
Okay, the test will be on reference parameters, recursion, linked list, stack, and queue. Okay, thank you everybody.